Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So we've got this JCB 4CX in. So when this came in, the bucket was fitted straight onto the machine via the pins. And the customer's bought a headstock for it, quick release headstock. So we've changed that over. So now you can change implements on the front. But the bucket obviously now won't fit because that was designed to be pinned straight onto the front. So what I've got to do, chop these off, profile some brackets out and then weld some brackets on so that will fit onto there. So I think the first job I'm going to do is I'm going to take these tines off completely because I need them like brackets off to be able to get in there. If I fold the tines over and then I try and move the bucket about, they're going to be flopping about. So if I just take them off completely, there's only a pin to take out, get rid of them, and then there's these pipes to take off, and then I'll just blank them off, blank the pipes off and blank the rams off. So that's both the tines off, taken all the pipework off. I've covered the rams with welding tip dip, so that should protect them. I put that bar back in because it's handy to lift it about with. So now I've done all that, I can start chopping one of these off. So I'm just going to take one off to start with, and then I'll work out the geometry for my brackets. Well, I'll work out the curve for the bracket, work out the geometry so that it still has the same amount of tip and crowd as what it did originally. And then once I've got that worked out, then I'll cut the other three off. So I'm going to gouge down the welds, I think, would be the best way to get them off with the arcair gouger. And we're going to use 8mm rods. So I'll try and be as accurate as I can and not dig into the face material, just try and blast the weld away. It is quite a skillful job, is arcair gouging. It would be easier, I could just slice down them with the gas, chop them off, but I never think it looks very good if you leave the old, remains of old brackets on. I always like to take them off completely, put a new bracket on, so you sort of can't tell it's been done. Right, so I've got gouge down there. You can see the separation line. There's a bit there I've missed. Didn't quite have my eye in to start with, and then when I got down here I sort of got my eye in a bit better. So hopefully now there's enough weld been melted away. Hopefully it'll knock off. There might be a few more bits out. Oh, a bit there I've missed. I've not gone deep enough. I'll give it a smack with the hammer and see what happens. So that's that off. You can see for the most part I've managed to keep above the base material. Odd spot might have dug in a bit, but it's not too much of a problem. So I'm going to clean that up now, and then I'll use that as a pattern to cut the new bracket out with. Right, so I haven't bothered cleaning that up yet, but what I've done is I've just taken a photo of it, and then I worked out the other day how to import photos into Onshape. So I've put it into Onshape and I've traced around it and then dimensioned it there. So what I'm going to do now is just cut out a bit of 3mm plate. I've got 2mm actually, 2mm plate. Just make sure that is right, and then I can finish drawing the rest of it on once I know that bit's, once I know that profile of the back of the bucket is right. Right, so I've got that shape loaded into the CNC program, so that's ready to go, lined up on there. So we'll cut that out now and see where it's going to fit or not. and it nearly fits. It's just a bit of a gap around there, you can see. I think touching at the top there, so if I grind a bit off that top bit, should make it fit better around there. Yeah, it fits down there near enough. Just that bit there is a gap. Right, so I've cut out another one of them. I've did a few alterations. It actually fits one side better than it does the other for some reason. When you put it on this side, it fits nice around there, but then when you put it on here, there's a little bit of a gap in the middle. So I think I'll make that do. That'll do. I can work with that. So what I need to do now is just measure what angle them holes are at now while the bucket's sat on the floor, and set the digger up the same, and then see if there's any difference on the new headstock between where the the degree of what the hole centers are. What I'll do now is I'll just put a straight edge up against back of them, and then measure what degrees that is, and then do the same on the digger. Set the pins up what would have been in here at the same degrees as this, and then see if the new like bottom pin and the top hook is the same, and if it's the same, then it'll be straightforward. If it's slightly different, then I'll have to put a bit of angle on the brackets, and it's not fussy to a couple of degrees. You can see that straight edge on there, they are at, we'll call it 76 degrees. So I've got this set up the same. You can see that's near enough 76 degrees. You can see that top bar and the bottom pin are nearly in line with each other. So when I've got that sort of near enough in the centre of there, and that near enough in the centre of there, that is about 86 degrees. So that when I cut my brackets out, when I draw my brackets, they need to be 86 degrees compared to how they are, and then the bucket should have the same geometry. Right, so there we are. That is what my bracket should look like. I think I am going to just cut one out of 2mm out of that plate there again, just to make sure it's right, because 2mm plate is a lot cheaper than 30mm plate. So that fits on the back of there, all right. The hole through for the hydraulic pipes. So we'll try it on the machine, make sure the hole centre is right. And if that's right, then we'll finish cutting them off. Now there will be a stop to weld on here as well. Yeah, that's not right. Oh dear. So I don't know how I've managed to do that, but that is a long way out. So I'll have to check my drawing. It's a good job I did cut it out at 2mm. That's what I've done wrong now. I did the centres the centre of there to the centre of there at the measurement, rather than it was supposed to be the top of that hole to the centre of there. It's supposed to be 648, and I've done it centres instead, so that's why that doesn't fit. I'll just have to go back into my drawing and move this hook down a little bit. I want the bottom hole to stay where it is, and then the bottom hole on here is the same place as where the original bottom bucket pin was. So I've just moved this top hole down 31.5mm, so that should be right again now. So I'm not going to do another test run because the other one fit apart from the hole, so I've altered that and now it should be right. So I don't think there's any need to do another trial run. Usually I would have screen recorded what I was doing here, but I'm actually stood at the CNC table now drawing it, so can't screen record what I'm doing. I think I'm happy with that now. That's the first time I've tried doing it off a photograph. It seemed to work alright, apart from a few obvious few little mishaps, but yeah, that's right. So we'll gouge the rest of them off now. That one went quite well. Just starting to get my eye in now. Just starting to get my eye in, and then I've only got one left to do. Right, so they're all ground down now. There's a few spots where I've dug in, which is annoying, but generally it's not too bad. So I need to bring the plate in now, some 30mm plate, so I can profile the brackets out. But the weather outside sounds horrible, so I'm not looking forward to going out and digging me a bit of plate out. Right, so I've got my 30mm plate on there. We're all set up, ready to go I think. I just need to change the plasma torch onto the gas torch. And then I haven't done any gas cutting since when it was getting set up, when the Kutavar engineer was here, so hopefully I can remember how to do it. It's fairly straightforward, you just have to change a few settings onto the torch rather than plasma. Right, so I think we're good to go. I've got it zeroed up to the side of the plate, got the torch swapped over, got this set to oxy fuel. I'll have to fiddle with them. With the plate being cold, you know, they're not preheating it or anything, the delay, you sort of have to do that manually. But yeah, we'll turn gas on and then we'll have a go. So that's them cut out. Pretty decent cut quality on there. Maybe a bit of fine tuning needed, but no, happy with that. So I have to wait for them to cool down and then give them a clean up and maybe try one on as well. Right, so that bracket fits on there, spot on. Only thing it does need is a stop welding on here, otherwise the pin, the bracket goes past the pinhole, so they have to have a stop welded on to put up against there. So I can mount that on, and then that's them done. Right, so I've got these brackets cleaned up, but I think I'm going to weld them on the bucket first and then make the stops, because if I put a stop on there now, like it needs to be on there, but if I weld something on now, it's going to get in the way of me welding it on the bucket. So I could use like a 30mm block, but then there's going to be a gap that not big enough to get in to weld onto there, and then too big sort of to weld it to the bucket. So yeah, I'll weld these on the bucket first and then I'll make the stop afterwards. So these brackets want to be on here at 1 metre centres, so now I'm going to have to grind a strip, a clean strip in between there for the brackets to go on. And while I'm doing that, I'll probably fill in some of these little bits just to make it look a bit better. Fill in with weld and ground them flat. And then we can stick the brackets on and get them squared up and tacked on. Right, so that's them tacked on, so they're ready to weld on now. A little bit of a gap under there, but that's no problem. So what I'll do is I'll probably weld from there down to there in this position, and then it's a bit steep to weld up, is that, so I'll do that first, and then I'll level it out so that's level, and then weld that up. I'll weld that bit up as it is now as well. So I'll do that, and then from there. Now ideally, with them being 30mm, you'd probably want to preheat them, but I'm not going to bother. So where we used to work, we used to make buckets, and we never preheated any of the brackets there, and we never had any bother with them cracking or breaking off or anything. And plus the machine that this has come off has done 9,500 hours, and you can see the bucket has hardly been used, and it's going to be used even less now, so yeah, that's why I'm not going to preheat the brackets. So I'll probably just put a bit of a filler weld in there first, just to fill that gap up a bit, and then we'll run a bigger weld over the top of it. So I've just cut these blocks out, so I'm going to weld these on the side of here for the stops. Still sort of see where my chalk mark is. So that's them all welded on now. Some more bloody suicidal flies. You don't really notice them, and then when you look up at the roof lights, you can see them all flying around. Oh yeah, that's them on. So I'll probably just offer it up onto the machine now, double check that it fits. It's a bit late really, they're all welded on, but just check it fits before I paint it, and then I can paint it and put the pipes back on. Right, so it's on and it fits, just a smidge tight on that locking pin. Just have to, just on that rough bit there, I'll have to dive around a little bit out of there, see where it's been touching. But yeah, no, pleased with that. Yeah, just a little bit tight. That one comes nearly all the way through. Yeah, just that one, a little bit tight. That's not a problem. So I don't think there's much point putting any effort into the paint job when you look at the rest of it. So I'm just going to do a rattle can. I've got a chicken in the workshop. What are you doing? Right, that's it, back together. Pipes are back on, tines are back on. But they're awkward of them. I bet some people have trapped or lost some fingers folding them in and out. The only thing now with it being on brackets is when these swing over, they'll hit the bar, so you'll have to unhitch the bucket before you can unfold the tines. But now it's on a, now it's like a quick hitch, it doesn't really matter. Probably easier taking the bucket off to fold them over anyway. So that is that job done now. I do have a few other attachments to alter to fit the same digger. I'm not sure whether I'm going to video them or not. So I'll take this out now and put it back on the digger again. Right, it's back on there now. You definitely will have to take the bucket off before you can fold them tines over, because they'll catch that. But locking pins, lock all the way in properly now. So that's good. So that is that job done. You can see them carriages right up against them stops. That's good. That pin comes through further than the other one for some reason. But I've tried it with the bucket off and it's still the same. That pin doesn't come through as far, but that is right at the end of its travel. Because you know, I've tried it with the bucket not on, so that's all alright. So that's all for this video. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Nearly at 30,000 subscribers now. We're at 29,130 we're at the moment. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be a great help. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. She's using all of that power today.
Finished college and graduated from uni, but in the past, she's worried